Could AI tools be quietly destroying your law firm's SEO strategy? Welcome to the Lawyer Millionaire, where we help ambitious law firm owners expand their businesses, maximize their profits, and grow their wealth. In today's fast-paced digital world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed when it comes to marketing your practice online. With AI on the rise, many firms are unknowingly falling into SEO traps that could hurt their visibility instead of helping it. Joining us today is Kevin Daisey, founder of Array Digital and host of the Managing Partners podcast. Kevin is an expert in helping law firms leverage digital marketing strategies to grow their practices. And today, he'll share how you can avoid some common SEO mistakes, especially the ones AI can cause.
All right, Kevin, I'm so excited that you're here today because we want to talk all things digital marketing for law firms and really get some great insights as we come into 2025. And as we know, things are always changing. So let's get the latest scoop. And why don't we start off with digital presence? What would you say in today's landscape? Maybe it's changed. I don't know. For today, as we think about the year coming up, what are the key components, like top three, to having a strong digital presence for a law firm?
Well, just throw me a hardball there. So thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it and happy to share as much as I can today with anyone listening, lawyers. My firm, we'll talk more about it, but we do marketing, digital marketing for law firms around the country and help them build their firms with what we can do here. Things are always changing, right? Obviously, AI is a big topic of discussion these days. And when you're thinking about your presence online, your digital presence, really things you need to consider. And some of it's not as cutting edge, I would say. Before you get a name or build a bigger presence or broadcast yourself everywhere, you got to go to some of the basics, your reputation, right? What are people saying about you? Your brand, are you on message? So I think as, starting from the beginning real quick, I would say, are you focused on running a good company and a good firm, and that when someone calls, you answer and you can take care of their needs, and kind of what's that client experience like? A lot of people want to jump right to wanting all the leads and more calls. But I think, you got to take time to focus on, okay, what are we about? What's our ideal client? Are we niched and focused? Or are we kind of a general practice firm? But really taking time to figure that out so that we, when you're talking, messaging, content on your website, whatever, that you're resonating with that person and you're focused on that kind of client. And then you want to definitely make sure you're taking care of your reviews on Google business profiles, making sure that thing's tip-top shape and taken care of. That's more on the organic side, if you will. And so organic SEO is still a big part of, of strategy for sure. But of course, if you look at Google, they've made it way more products that they're selling. So you got your local service ads, you have 4, pay-per-click spots now. And then even a paid spot in the local listings, the maps, there's a paid spot you can get in there, plus 3 below that. And then you have your traditional organic SEO results past that. So you have to have paid strategies from a digital perspective these days. And I love when clients are like, I just want to do organic. I just want to do SEO and content. Like we love that. But at the end of the day, you're missing out on opportunities if you only do that. So I think, having a well-rounded strategy, focus on some paid LSAs can work for some. And I'll leave that caveat because I've seen a lot of clients where they just won't work because they're saturated. Google's limiting who can get into it at this point, unless you have very large budgets. Depending on what your practice area is and your location. But, I just think you need to look at all those different opportunities and have a well-rounded strategy for search.
Mhm.
And that's really what we focus on is the bottom of the funnel. So it's, hey, Darren, you're like, I have a need for a lawyer, criminal case, or a personal injury case. Like you need it. You're searching for it.
Yeah.
We like to focus there first, and then work your way up. So if you're thinking about a digital strategy, like, hey, how do I get someone that's needing me now? And then I'll start to worry about maybe they're in market, but I'm not really sure. So let's try to get in front of them. And then to go the higher than that, hey, I just want brand awareness, billboards, radio, TV, social media ads, to get to the masses in my market so they know who I am. But
Okay.
don't start there, right?
Yeah. I love that, because I feel like so many times we start backwards, or law firm owners start backwards. It's like, and we deal with this with business planning. We want to grow. Let's get more clients. Well, back up. Before we do that, let's get clear about what the business is, who exactly we want to serve, and really nail who that ideal client is.
Yeah.
So attracting that person, that ideal client that's in the moment, looking for you, what are some things you need to think about?
Sure. I think one, just understanding, the habits of people, right? So if say you're in Orlando, Florida, whatever, and you're a personal injury, we'll do criminal offense actually. So you're in Orlando, you get a DUI, and once you're out of jail or whatever happens, there's a pretty short amount of time where you're gonna go, okay, I need to figure out this bad situation.
Yeah.
And it's pretty time sensitive.
Yeah. You got to move.
Yeah. And so, I think if lawyers, if you just think about the habits of people, not as lawyers, because you speak your own lingo and you talk technical terms and use words that the general public might not use. So step back, ask your friends, ask your family, hey, if you were to get a DUI, what would you think to do first? What would you search for? And then start to really, pull that back and say, okay, do we show up? Or if you would ask for a referral, that's going to be a possibility. Hey, who do I know that maybe could refer me to someone, to a lawyer? As if it's a DUI or a criminal defense, you might not ask your friends. You're not going to post on Facebook, hey guys, I just got thrown in jail. Who do you know that can help me out? So someone's not going to do that.
Yeah.
And so they're going to go to their own method of either asking very close family that they trust, or they're going to go search themselves and try to handle the situation themselves discreetly.
Yeah.
And so if they're going to search for it, which is a pretty big percent of people are going to search on their phone, right in the situation, or maybe on their desktop if they get home. But, and so just kind of thinking that through and going, okay, what are the things I need in place for someone to make that buying decision or that first contact?
Yeah.
Think about yourself, right? Do I need to see reviews from other people that have been in situations like mine? Probably. Does the website need to clearly show the expertise in my situation? Right. So if I go to your law firm website and it's like, hey, we do everything for everyone. And I'm like, I got to go find, or is it a good user experience where, hey, I got a DUI. I landed on the DUI page. They have tons of reviews, custom testimonials from people that had the same situation. Video. I can hear the lawyer talk. I go, man, that guy looks like he could represent me, or that girl could, looks like they can handle themselves well. Whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And that's for your ideal customer, right? So if you're doing divorce, right, you might do divorce for only men or for only women. That might set you apart when someone's looking at the decision to make. If a woman's trying to get a divorce and you're like a woman going, hey, we only help women in divorce situations, that might be what sells it for them. So I think back to like spending time on your brand, your positioning, and then what pieces that have to be in place for people to make that
Yeah.
buying decision to make that contact. No one wants to talk to a lawyer. They feel uncomfortable. They feel like maybe they're getting advantage of, or they're going to get billed before they even hire them, right?
Yeah.
You got to think about that.
I love that. And really getting really targeted on who you're focusing on, because then when they come across your website, it's like, oh, well, they really are speaking my language specifically. I think that's great advice. So I really love that.
Yeah, that's again, if you're general practice, you can still do that and have tons of different areas. And I love the stories of lawyers because they don't start as general practice. They started helping them with this, and then their clients needed this, and so it makes sense. But to an outsider, that's like, oh, this firm's been around for 100 years and they do everything under the sun. Well, it didn't start that way. They did good work, and they deserve to be bigger and helping people do more stuff. It makes sense. But a general public person doesn't think that way. They're like, oh, this is a massive firm that probably doesn't really do what I need, So you have to make it appear, that way. So.
And you mentioned some key things, having a website or a video of you as the attorney, or some of your attorneys speaking on that page. I think that's really powerful. What about content marketing? Is content marketing still a thing that we need to be doing? What does content marketing look like in 2025?
That's a great question. Yes. So I just got back from like 2 different conferences. We're going to go to another one. Lots of SEO talks and content. Content is still huge, and it's still a big part of what we do. So really, if you go to Google, we'll stick with Google. We're digital marketers, so Google's going to win most of it. But if you're looking for a question, say you're divorce or estate planning, those are not overnight decisions typically. And so, you're asking questions, whatever. That's where SEO is still a big player, is Google doesn't put ads there for like, hey, if you ask a question about something specific. So Google still wants like real content from experts, lawyers, that are putting out there the answers to those questions. But you'll see things like in Google, you'll see like Reddit posts come up in there. YouTube videos will come at the top now, right?
Yeah.
And so that's all content. So I can put my content on my webpage as a blog, a video version of it, which also now is on YouTube to be found there, which is another search engine. Google pulls the video into the results and links your page to it. You can answer the same kind of things on Reddit, and those come up, Quora, on your business listings. I mean, so LinkedIn, you can do articles and newsletters there. All this content is now being circulated and found. And so your firm needs to be that thought leader, right? And answering the questions that people have. And then on the flip side, it helps if they do come to your website that you've answered these questions. Say, hey, here's, if I'm on the estate planning page, here's FAQs, right? And you've already answered those questions. That's content that you wrote or had someone like us write. One of the big things out there is don't use AI to write your content. You can use it to assist. Yeah, you can use it to assist like ideas. Google does not like just straight AI written content. You also have ABA guidelines per state, per practice area. AI is not following those rules. So if you're trying just to pump content out, just to always think it's quality over quantity when it comes to SEO and content. So don't just use AI to write it. So.
I have been hearing that. I heard that somewhere else. I was curious your take on that. So it's good to hear that. It's interesting that Google is able to tell, when it's AI generated content.
Well, here's a big tip on this episode right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's probably heard this, but Google, the updates that Google just done was called the helpful content update and then the spam update. Well, helpful content is what it is. Like They want the content to be helpful, meaning if you were to read it, you would actually get some actionable insights and, information out of it. But it's also easy to read, and it's not SEO written, like keywords stuffed everywhere. And so Google wants just, hey, we want this content to be real and helpful and unique. And so AI is going to just pull sources from all over the place and cram it together. And then it's not written in your voice. I think that's the other big important thing here. I have a law firm in Chicago, family law firm. And they're like, man, our brand is everything. We love it. We love it. We love it. Beautiful, cool website, different style, modern kind of, take on it. And they're a client of ours. And I was like, well, everything's looking great. You're so excited about all this cool stuff you do in the brand. What about your blog articles? Oh yeah, those are just generated. I was like, okay, so your brand's super important. You spend a lot of money to get people to come to your site.
Yep.
And then they read something that a computer wrote that has zero feeling, or, it's just not even like, it's nothing there. And it's definitely not selling you to like work with the firm. It's very matter of fact. It's just nothing you want to read.
Interesting. Can it actually hurt you using AI content?
Absolutely. So the spam update, where Google went out there and found all sites that were using AI or just spammy links or whatever, and they completely de-indexed them, or they all lost ranking. So we had a client that just became a client, but they had all AI content, and they were getting like a blog or two, a week that was being published. And I saved this chart somewhere, but you can see the crawled pages up to the right, which means there's new pages being added constantly, and their traffic the opposite direction.
Oh,
down to nothing.
Oh my goodness.
This guy went from 50 employees, 16 lawyers or 10 lawyers to himself and like a couple support staff.
Wow.
Wow. So just,
if I have AI content on my website, should I get rid of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. So you could have a human, again, AI can do a lot of heavy lifting for you, but then just go through and rewrite it yourself. Like beside it, go, you know what? Let me just kind of put this in my own words. And again, make it sound as if your client was reading it. And then put a video in there so they can watch it. I think the video part, Google's going to give you credit for a video. So you're going to get higher rank potential. You'll get found on YouTube, but then they get that personal connection. Imagine if you emailed me and that was my only communication with you, or you sent me a video, or we got on this call right now, or we get to see each other and talk. So again, that's going to add that comfort. And then Google goes, okay, well, this page is more helpful because they can also watch a video. You can put audio clips if you don't want to make a video. At least Google can say, hey, you can read or listen. That's more helpful than if you only have one option.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Wow. Interesting stuff. What are some other things, anything else that's coming, like that we need to be aware of, or law firms need to be thinking about as we think towards the future of marketing?
Well, obviously the big players like, Google, right? They've been unsuccessful at some things. They have to continue to make revenues, which means advertising is going to be a bigger part. And if you look at, they have AI now, Google Gemini, and search results are being pulled in by AI and stuff like that. So how do you fit into that? Do you show up in those spots? And again, I'm just talking about Google here. We can get into social and all that kind of stuff, but Google's got to make money. And so if you look at, again, the search results, which are where most people are going to go on Google, Google wants the Google business profile has the phone number, reviews, information, posting. If they could keep you on Google and you never left to go to your website, that's what they prefer. So why websites are still very important and they play a big part. Google is trying to keep everyone just, hey, we're going to give you everything you need right here. So you just need to be on track with what Google's doing and, pay attention. They're telling you what they want. So it's just a matter of doing the right things.
Give them what they want.
Give them what they want. I mean, the search is going to change a lot, but they still have to make money. They still have to advertise, and there's always, as for now, there's still going to always be a platform for that, and they won't exist if that's all they are. So they still need content. They still need, answers that don't feel paid for. You know what I mean? So, or they'll disappear.
Interesting. Yeah, even I think ChatGPT is working on their own search engine called SearchGPT. There's a lot of interesting things that will be happening in the coming years.
Yeah, and we got to pay attention as marketers for sure. But again, if you had Chat or GPT search or whatever it is, right? How are they making money? Who gets priority?
Well, yeah, because they were actually funded. I don't know if they're actually like in a state of net profit yet or not. I'll have to look that one up.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into this in doing marketing for law firms? Give us a little bit of your personal background.
Oh yeah, sure, love to. We were chatting a little bit backstage. I went into. I came from a really small town. Went into what I thought was a good way to start a career into like civil engineering. I don't want to be an architect. I went to school for computer aided drafting. So like drawing plans and stuff like that. And so only got my associate's degree, went right into the workforce at like 21, 22 and, but a big corporation. I always liked to design stuff and build websites and stuff as a hobby. And so I met some business owners along the way. It's like a local organization. Like, oh, Kevin, you should come to one of our board meetings. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. And so I started meeting some business owners and some bright people and started to see that, hey, I could build websites. I could do this stuff. And there's people that are looking for this kind of work. This is back in 2005, 2006.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, So I got the bug and just no savings, no money, no plan, just was like checked out and was like, all right, I'm going to quit and I'm going to start my own website design company.
Yeah.
And so I did that about mid-year in 2006. And I think I made 10 grand that next year, which was not good. And but then I made 35 grand, 60 some grand, 90 some grand the years, and just hitting the streets locally.
Okay.
Being the website guy. And so I was doing websites and SEO and digital marketing, if you will, for anyone that was looking for it at the time. And I had a few lawyers that were clients of mine, not by design. Because I worked for anybody, like, realtors, pizza shop, HVAC company, anybody. Right. And so I just spent a lot of time getting good at networking and showing up to events and joining boards and helping out in the community. And it led to a lot of business. And so fast forward to not bore the heck out of everybody here. Getting with a group of entrepreneurs and agency owners. Like, hey, you got to focus. What I was talking about. You got a niche. Like, because I wasn't growing. I was stuck. It was like $500,000 a year or less, just every year, like stuck. And we didn't have recurring revenue. It was just like more of a project kind of model that we had. And I just didn't know what I didn't know. And so, 2017, we niched. We rebranded to this name, Array Digital, and we chose to work with lawyers. So
I love it. I have almost the same exact story. Starting out working with everybody, and learning from other like business people that I needed to have a well-defined target market, and then kind of accidentally coming into the law firm owner space and then just running with it. But I'm making 10,000. I think my first year I made like 6,000 or something like that.
I did better than you. All right.
I love the hustle. I respect the hustle a lot. Really good stuff. Well, Kevin, if folks want to get in touch with you and learn more, where should they go? And you also have a podcast, the Managing Partners Podcast. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, well, I'll wrap up the last part real quick. So just to kind of give you a perspective, we're at 55 employees now.
Nice.
So, and 3 actual brand agencies that focus on different niche areas. So we've really scaled this whole thing with what I was saying earlier. If you focus, you can scale your law firm, you can work into other areas, and it's been very successful for us. So, my podcast is the Managing Partners Podcast. I've had about 350 law firm owners and experts like yourself. And we talk about exactly what we're talking about here, but we break down kind of each piece. So culture, sales, intake, client experience, branding, marketing, all processes, everything. So the show's all about running a effective law firm, taking care of your clients, and building hopefully a legacy for you and your family. So
awesome.
The Managing Partners Podcast, you can Google it. If you're out there and you want to be on it, reach out. Love to have good folks with great stories or things you can share on the show. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, Kevin, it's been a pleasure having you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much. I love what you're doing, and everyone just get out there and do good work
and write your own content.
Write your own or hire someone like a Ray Digital. We'll do it for you.
Very good. All right. See you, Kevin.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights on how law firm owners can better manage their digital marketing and avoid those sneaky SEO pitfalls. If you want to learn more about Kevin, you can check him out at Array Digital and listen to the Managing Partners Podcast. We'll have all the links in the show notes, so be sure to take a look. Now, one big takeaway from today's conversation is that while AI can be a powerful tool, it can also backfire on your SEO if you're not careful. The key is to stay informed, proactive, and make sure you're not relying on shortcuts that could cost your firm clients in the long run. Growing your law firm, though, is about so much more than marketing. It's about having a solid business growth plan that encompasses all areas, from operations to client retention, financial strategy, and yes, marketing too. Our business growth planning services can help you get clear on your vision, streamline your operations, and maximize your profitability. If you want help building a practice that's not only successful today, but also positioned for long-term growth, we're here. Ready to take action? Schedule a one-on-one with me using the calendar link in the show notes, and I'll share with you the 5 secrets of elite law firm growth. This has been the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Wurz, here to help you expand your business, maximize your profits, and grow your wealth. Thank you so much for listening. Come back and join me next time.